Welcome to the 1 Hour Guide by Anil Nathu. Today we are taking a deep dive into what is probably the central challenge that plagues every ambitious person, but especially you, the solopreneur.
Hmm.
It's the struggle against what we could call operational entropy. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that constant stream of urgent tasks, the client emails, the marketing, the finances, all of it, all at once. And this, daily firefighting, it feels essential.
It feels productive.
Exactly. It feels productive, but it's actually what stops you from hitting those huge breakthrough goals. The question isn't, are you busy? We know you are. It's whether all that effort is actually creating any real momentum.
That is the perfect setup. And the source material we're digging into today, it really offers the strategic antidote to that relentless noise.
Right.
We are exploring the management framework known as the 4 Disciplines of Execution, or 4DX.
Right.
It's detailed in the seminal work by Chris McChesney, Covey, and Jim Huling, and it's analyzed so well in the 1 Hour Guide.
And this isn't just theory, is it?
No, not at all. It's a proven methodology for closing that gap between what you want to do and what you actually get done.
So our mission today is to cut through some of the corporate jargon. I mean, the system is used by massive companies.
Huge companies.
But we want to translate its core mechanics specifically for the one-person operation. Because if 40X can mobilize a Fortune 500 company, just imagine the kind of leverage it can give a solopreneur who controls 100% of the inputs.
It's an incredible thought.
Yeah, how can one person install an execution system so robust that it basically guarantees they hit their biggest goals? Okay, let's unpack this.
I love that because 40X is designed not as, a set of helpful tips, but as a holistic integrated system. It sees execution as a systemic problem, not a people problem.
Okay.
So before we dive into the mechanics, let's lay out the roadmap. Think of these 4 disciplines as a sequence, a framework for turning abstract ideas into real results.
Perfect. Let's hear it.
Okay, so over the course of this deep dive, we're going to cover 6 essential sections, and they really do build on one another. Got it. First, we'll define the 4DX model itself. We need to understand it as a business strategy framework designed to create what the authors call a winnable game.
A winnable game.
Oh,
like
fat.
that already.
Second, we'll tackle Discipline 1. Focus on the wildly important goals, or WIGs. This is all about ruthless prioritization, finding the 2 or 3 things that really matter most.
The painful part.
The painful but necessary part, yeah. Then third, we move into Discipline 2, act on the lead measures. This is the big pivot. It's about shifting focus away from outcomes and onto the predictive, controllable actions you take every day.
Action over results.
Exactly. Fourth is Discipline 3, keep a compelling scoreboard. We're going to get into the psychology of motivation here, using visualization to drive commitment. Fifth, we look at Discipline 4, create a cadence of accountability. This is what establishes that consistent rhythm of review that makes sure the whole system doesn't just fall apart.
The engine of it all.
Precisely. And finally, we'll wrap up with a solopreneur implementation guide, a practical step-by-step breakdown of how you can put all 4 of these disciplines to work immediately.
That is an incredibly clear roadmap. And that clarity is, I think, exactly what an overwhelmed solopreneur needs. So let's start with that foundational model.
Absolutely. So the 4 Disciplines of Execution, 4DX, it's a structure designed to bridge that huge gap between strategy and execution.
The gap where all good ideas go to die.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Strategy is the vision, right?
Right.
What you want to achieve. Execution is the messy reality of actually achieving it. And so many solopreneurs are brilliant strategists, but the execution falls apart because the day job just consumes everything.
You become a victim of the urgent and you sacrifice the important.
Perfectly said.
And what Chris McChesney and his co-authors really emphasize, and I'm quoting from the source material here, is that the goal of this entire framework is to create a winnable game. That reframing is so crucial for someone who feels that they're always losing against their to-do list. It turns this vague, scary goal into a clear, measurable challenge where you actually know the rules.
It's the difference between a chore and a strategic challenge. It takes that long-term aspiration and turns it into a series of short-term daily victories. And the authors developed these 4 disciplines as a sequential, interlinked system.
So you have to do them in order.
You do. If you execute D1 through D4 consistently, success becomes highly predictable.
Okay, so let's quickly restate the 4 disciplines as they flow into one another, just to set the stage.
Great idea. Think of them as a machine built for strategic leverage.
Okay.
So Discipline 1, focus on the wildly important. This is the filter. You concentrate your energy on the few things that will yield the most significant impact.
Got it.
Discipline 2. Act on the laid measures. Once the target is set, this defines your daily work. You track the proactive behaviors you can control, not the results you can't.
So what you do, not what you got.
Precisely. Discipline 3. Keep a compelling scoreboard. This makes your progress visible and engaging. It keeps you motivated because you can see the score. You know if you're winning.
And finally,
Discipline 4. Create a cadence of accountability. This is the engine. It establishes a regular rhythm of review and commitment that keeps the whole thing moving forward.
that structure brings us right to Discipline 1, which I think tackles the #1 failure point for any solopreneur.
Yeah.
Trying to be a superhero and do absolutely everything.
It really does.
Yeah.
And this discipline offers immediate relief because it just acts as a strategic gatekeeper. As the source material highlights, in today's fast-paced and constantly changing business landscape, the challenge is goal overload.
Oh, yeah.
The solo operator, they're ambitious, so they try to do 5 or 10 major things at once. Develop a new product, triple the email list, redesign the sales funnel.
And the result is always burnout and failure. You end up being 10% effective on 10 different things.
Yeah.
Which means you generated a ton of effort for basically 0 results. But let me push back on this a little. For a solopreneur, the daily operational noise, the client emails, the urgent calls, that is the income stream. How do you strategically justify cutting time from tasks that pay the bills today for a wig that might only pay off in 3 or 6 months? It feels risky.
It does feel risky, and that is the central tension 4DX is designed to solve. The core concept is defining your wildly important goals, or WIGs, and it insists on a small number of them.
Right.
You're right, the current income tasks are necessary, but 4DX helps you distinguish between what's necessary and what's strategic. The power here is channeling your energy with laser-like precision. When you only have one person to do the work, choosing 1, maybe 2 WIGs, ensures you generate real momentum.
So it's not about ignoring the day job, but carving out a protected space for the future job.
Perfectly put. Discipline 1 forces that conversation. It makes you ask, how do I carve out 10 or 20% of my effort to focus only on the future? And that small slice of time must be dedicated to the WIG.
So why does focusing on a wig have such a massive impact, especially for a solo operator whose time is already maxed out?
Well, the benefits are strategic, of course,
Yeah.
but they're also deeply psychological. And that's critical when you're working alone. The source material details 3 big benefits here.
Okay.
First, enhanced clarity. When you define a WIG, let's say, increase monthly recurring revenue from $5,000 to $10,000 by the end of Q3. That goal immediately clarifies everything.
It becomes a filter.
It becomes the ultimate filter. Every new project, every opportunity, you have to ask,
Yeah.
does this directly move me toward that $10,000 MRR goal? If not, it's a strategic no matter how interesting it seems.
That's where you find the time.
That's exactly where you find the time. Second is increased motivation. A WIG isn't just a target, it's a breakthrough. Achieving a wildly important goal is just inherently more motivating than just, meeting routine targets. You wake up knowing exactly what your highest leverage task for the day is. And third, and this is so critical for that operational noise, it prevents goal overload. The WIG gives you the strategic justification to say, I'm not going to spend this week designing new email templates because that is not directly linked to my WIG of securing 3 new enterprise contracts.
It's a protective barrier.
It is. It forces you to dedicate your time, money, and mental energy to what will actually shape your future.
So let's get into the mechanics. For the person listening right now, running their own business, how do they define their wig without just getting paralyzed by all the options?
It's a great question, and the source material provides clear, structured guidance. For the solopreneur, you have to be rigorous with these steps and maybe even get a coach or a mastermind group to give you some objective input.
Okay, step 1.
Step 1, identify 2-3 objectives. The rule in 4DX is if you pursue more than 3 WIGs, you're actually pursuing 0. For a solo operator, I'd say stick to 1 WIG, just 1, until you've really mastered the system.
And it has to be the one with the most leverage, right? Not just the one that sounds the most fun.
Exactly. Yeah. The one that will have the most significant nonlinear impact. Then step 2. Use the SMART criteria, but with the WIG formula. The goal has to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Right, SMART goals. We've heard that before.
We have, but 4DX adds a powerful syntax to it. Move X to Y by when.
Oh, I like that.
So a vague goal like grow my business is useless. A precise WIG is move customer retention rate from 75% to 90% by December 31st. It defines the start point, the end point, and the deadline. No ambiguity.
And what's next?
Step 3, communicate and share. Even a solopreneur has a team, right? A VA, subcontractors, partners. You have to articulate the big clearly to them so they can align their work to support it.
So everyone's pulling in the same direction.
Exactly. And step 4, probably the hardest one, allocate protected resources. You have to look at your calendar and budget and dedicate specific protected time blocks only to WIG activities. For you, the WIG has to become a non-negotiable appointment.
Like a client meeting.
Even more important than a client meeting, it's a meeting with your future self. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons are WIG time, no emails, no calls, period.
That clarity is powerful. So discipline 1 sets the trajectory, but now we get to the real pivot point, discipline 2. We're moving from the goal to the how, the action. Here's where it gets really interesting.
This is, I would argue, the most transformative discipline in the whole system, because it fundamentally changes how you manage your time and measure your own progress. The biggest mistake most people make is focusing only on the lag measures, the outcome.
Right. So what's the difference?
So to clarify, lag measures are your traditional metrics. They track results after the fact. They're historical data.
So final revenue for the quarter.
Exactly. Or new customers last month. They tell you if you succeeded or failed, but they give you very little guidance on how to improve because you can't influence them directly today.
You can't change last month's numbers.
You can't. But lead measures are proactive, predictive, and most importantly, influenceable. They track the specific actions and behaviors that are in your direct control. They're the daily activities that, if you do them consistently, will make the lag measure happen.
Okay, let's make that tangible. Let's say we have Sarah, a digital course creator. Her WIG, the lag measure, is generate $50,000 in revenue from the new course launch by November 1st. She can't just will that money into existence.
Right.
So what's her lead measure?
For Sarah, a great lead measure might be number of high-value, niche-specific educational live webinars conducted per week, or maybe number of hours spent creating interactive pre-launch content per week.
Things she can actually control.
Exactly. She can control how many webinars she does. She can't directly control how many people buy the course. Discipline 2 teaches her to obsess over the webinars, knowing that if she does that part right, the revenue will follow. It's a shift from observing results to manipulating the levers that cause them.
I see. But why is this so much more effective than just focusing on the big goal?
There are 3 critical reasons. First, they provide actionable insights. Lag measures are frustrating. If you miss your revenue target, you just know you failed, not why.
Right.
A lead measure guides your day-to-day decisions. If your lead measure is conduct 5 discovery calls per week, then you know exactly what your most important task is. It pushes all the other busy work to the side.
It gives you your job description for the week.
It does. Second, they have predictive power. A good lead measure has a direct causal link to the lag measure. More calls lead to more sales. It's logical. So you're focusing on the root cause of success.
And the third?
The third is that they enable course correction. This is the system's feedback loop. If you're tracking your lead measures, you can make adjustments in real time. If a consultant sees that making 5 calls a week isn't getting him appointments, he can immediately change the lead measure to something else, like conduct 5 personalized video outreaches per week.
Instead of waiting to the end of the quarter and realizing he missed his target completely.
That's it. You adjust the action now.
But that seems to be the tricky part, identifying the right lead measures. I mean, a solopreneur can track all sorts of busy work that feels productive, but isn't actually predictive.
That's a huge pitfall, and the source outlines a very careful evidence-based process for this. You have to be brutally honest about causality.
Okay, so how do you do it?
You start with your lag measure, your WIG. Let's say it's increased product usage by existing clients from 60% to 85% by Q2.
Okay.
Then step 2 is to identify the critical activities. You brainstorm the specific, measurable, and controllable actions that genuinely impact that lag measure. So for product usage, it might be number of proactive client training sessions offered per week.
Not client mood improved.
Never. It has to be something you can count.
No.
Then step 3, assign responsibility and set targets. As the solopreneur, you're responsible. So you have to make this action non-negotiable. If the target is 3 proactive training sessions per week, you hit that number. No excuses.
And the last step.
Step 4 is crucial. Test and refine. You have to constantly analyze the correlation. If you hit your lead measure target for a month, but the lag measure product usage doesn't move, then your lead measure is wrong.
Your hypothesis was flawed.
Exactly. So you have to adjust. Maybe it's not the training, but the communication about the training. So the lead measure shifts to number of clients who confirmed attendance. You keep refining until you find the lever that actually moves the needle.
So we've set the WIG and defined the lead measures. You have the target and the action plan. But now you have to stay engaged, which brings us to discipline 3, the compelling scoreboard.
That's right. A goal without a scoreboard is just a wish. It's an intention that just fades away. Discipline 3 is all about the power of visualization to keep the WIG and the lead measures front and center.
What's so interesting about this, especially for one person working alone, is the psychology. Why does just visualizing the score work so well when you're the only one watching?
It serves 3 key purposes, all aimed at driving internal commitment. First is clarity. A good scoreboard gives you an immediate snapshot of status. Right now, are you winning or losing based on your lead measures? It prevents that dangerous self-deception of just being busy.
Right. I worked 12 hours today, but did I actually move the score?
Exactly. Second is motivation and engagement. A scoreboard turns an abstract goal, like a Q4 revenue target, into a tangible daily gain. Seeing a graph move up, placing a check mark next to a task, that's a dopamine hit. It's self-gamification. And third is accountability. Just the act of recording the score honestly forces you to face reality. Did I hit my lead measures this week? Yes or no? You can't lie to the scoreboard.
So how does a solopreneur design a scoreboard that's actually compelling and not just another boring spreadsheet they forget to open?
The authors are very clear on this. It has to be simple, visible, and engaging. It has to be designed for the player, which is you.
So what goes on it?
First, the right metrics. It has to show the WIG, the lag measure, and the lead measures. And the lead measures have to be the primary focus. The scoreboard needs to emphasize what you can do today.
And it has to be visible, right?
That's the second point. Design for visibility. It has to be unavoidable. A physical whiteboard in your office, a dashboard that's your desktop homepage, a piece of paper taped next to your monitor. If it takes 5 clicks to find it, it's a failure.
And this seems like a great place to bring up the 1-hour guide by Anil Nathu again, because they're all about practical business insights. Technology makes this so much easier for a solopreneur.
Oh, absolutely. As the 1-hour guide often explores, simple digital tools can automate a lot of this. Spreadsheets, Trello boards, simple dashboards, and crucially, you should integrate elements of gamification.
Right, because you're competing against yourself.
Exactly. Use progress bars, chart your streaks, how many days in a row did you hit your lead measure, reward your own milestones. It turns tracking from a chore into a satisfying ritual.
And the final piece.
Regular updates. The data has to be real-time or near real-time. A scoreboard that's 3 days old is useless. It loses all its motivational power. The act of updating it is part of the commitment cycle itself.
Okay, so we've got the goal, the actions, and the scoreboard. But the whole system means nothing without the final piece. Consistency. This brings us to discipline 4. Accountability.
This is the engine that prevents everything from just drifting back to chaos. Discipline 4 is all about establishing a rhythm, a cadence of regularly scheduled review sessions, WIG sessions.
And this is the one solopreneurs struggle with the most. It's so easy to cancel a meeting with yourself. There's no external pressure. I mean, if I'm my own boss and my own team, what stops me from just, fudging the numbers when I have a bad week?
That is the central challenge. And the mechanism that prevents that is structure and ritual. You have to schedule a non-negotiable review session and treat it with the same respect as a high-paying client meeting. The integrity comes from the other disciplines. Because your lead measures are specific 5 calls, not tried hard, and your scoreboard is visual, you can't fudge the numbers without consciously lying to yourself. And the cadence is what forces you to look at those numbers every single week.
So why is this regular check-in so critical?
Well, first, alignment. It forces you to step out of the daily grind and ask, are my actions still moving the WIG? It keeps you focused.
Okay.
Second, problem solving. It's a structured, dedicated time to address obstacles. A technical issue, a dip in motivation. You tackle it here before it derails you completely.
So it's not a complaining session, it's a problem-solving session.
Yes. And third, commitment and renewal. Just knowing you have to report on your progress, even if it's just to your own journal, creates this powerful sense of responsibility. You review last week, and you make fresh, specific commitments for the next week.
Okay, let's walk through that. If a listener wants to set up their own solo WIG session, what does that 15-minute structure actually look like?
It has to be ruthlessly focused. A 3-part agenda. You can do it in 15 minutes if you're disciplined. Part 1. Report on last week's commitments. 5 minutes. This is the honesty check. You look at the scoreboard. Did I make my 5 calls? Yes or no? It's about the execution of the lead measures, not the outcome yet.
Okay.
Part 2. Review the scoreboard and address roadblocks. Another 5 minutes. Look at the trend. Is the lag measure moving? If you missed a lead measure, why? This is where you find a solution. If the problem was time, the solution is to book next week's WIG time right now.
And the final part.
Part 3. Make new commitments, the last 5 minutes. Based on the review, what are the 1 to 3 most important things you commit to doing this week to move the WIG? They have to be specific and actionable. I commit to launching the 10-day email sequence by Friday, and that's what goes on next week's scoreboard.
The source material also talks about leadership's role. For the solopreneur, that means self-leadership, which just requires incredible discipline.
It does. You have to be the ultimate leader for yourself. And that means a few things. First, you have to lead by example. If you set the rules, you follow them. If you skip your WIG meeting, the system is dead. You've just undermined your own authority.
Right. And you also have to, facilitate the meeting for yourself.
Exactly. You have to facilitate the meeting, keep that self-review session focused. Don't let urgent emails derail it. Protect those 15 minutes fiercely.
This reminds me of the value of internal commitment, which is something the 1-Hour Guide by Anil Nathu stresses so often. They make it clear that commitment is the bridge between having a framework and getting results.
That is the perfect connection. And third, you have to provide support for yourself. That means protecting your time, investing in the right tools for your scoreboard, or getting training you need. You have to remove your own roadblocks.
So we've defined all 4 disciplines in detail. Let's tie it all together now in a comprehensive how-to guide for the listener. Let's imagine they're starting this framework for the very first time.
I like it. This is the final walkthrough, the actionable steps to implement 40X right away.
So starting with discipline 1, focus on the WIG. What's the first action?
Action 1, get objective input. Don't just trust your own gut. Talk to an advisor, a coach, or your mastermind group. Ask them, what's the one thing in my business that, if I improve it, will unlock everything else?
Action 2.
Action 2, prioritize and apply the formula. Make sure the WIG aligns with your long-term vision, and then write it out. Move X to Y by when. Something like move proposal closing rate from 30% to 50% by June 30th.
Okay, moving to discipline 2, act on the lead measure.
Right. Action 3 is to identify high-leverage lead measures. Brainstorm the key actions that truly move that closing rate. Maybe it's complete 1 hour of personalized client research before every proposal.
And then you set targets for that.
That's action 4. Set clear targets. Define the specific numerical goal. I will complete 3 hours of personalized client research this week. This becomes your weekly commitment.
Now for discipline 3, keep a compelling scoreboard.
Action 5. Design an engaging scoreboard. It has to show the WIG and lead measures. Make it visual. Use colors, charts, streaks. Make it fun to look at.
And action 6.
Celebrate milestones. When you hit your lead measure target for the week, acknowledge it. Positive reinforcement is vital when you're working alone.
And finally, discipline 4, create a cadence of accountability.
Action 7. Schedule and protect regular check-ins. Go to your calendar right now and schedule that 15-minute weekly WIG review. Make it recurring. Treat it as the most important appointment of your week.
And the final action.
Action 8. Follow the agenda strictly. Use that time only to review commitments, solve roadblocks, and make new commitments. No distractions. Keep the operational noise out.
This connects so well to the bigger picture. The source material, and I know the 1-Hour Guide by Anil Nathu does this too, often recommends other reading. Things like Jim Collins' Good to Great or John Dewar's measure, What Matters with OKRs.
They do, and it's a great point. While OKRs and 40X are similar, 40X is incredibly prescriptive about the how. It's about the execution, the lead measures, and that cadence of accountability. It's designed to overcome the inertia of the daily grind.
So it's a closed-loop system.
Exactly. D1 sets the target. D2 drives the action, D3 tracks the action and motivates you. And D4 creates the consistency that sustains the whole thing. It's the difference between just having a plan and having a machine for execution.
So what does this all mean? I think the ultimate power of 40X, especially for a solopreneur, is not about working harder. It's about leverage. It's about making sure every single minute you have is applied to the one thing that will actually achieve your wildly important goal.
It's a framework for high-performance self-leadership. And that brings us to a final thought for you to consider. The source material much like the 1-Hour Guide by Anil Nathu, suggests books like Atomic Habits or Drive. So if 40X is the structure, the framework for action, it raises a really interesting question. Where does intrinsic motivation fit in? How can you use this rigid structure not just to hit a revenue target, but to build unbreakable, high-value habits that eventually run on autopilot?
So the system helps build the habit, and then the habit sustains the system.
That's the idea to mull over. The 40X system makes the right habits visible and rewarding, turning a business framework into a sustainable, motivated lifestyle.
That's a powerful thought. But let's bring it back to immediate action. Here is your 3-step solopreneur action plan to implement 40X starting right now.
Let's do it.
Action step 1, define your WIG. Before this week is over, set one single, wildly important goal for the next 90 days. Use the move X to Y by 1 formula. Make it a real breakthrough. Action step 2, establish your lead measure. Identify the 1 or 2 daily or weekly behaviors that are most predictive of achieving that WIG. Define their target numbers. This is your new job description. And action step 3, schedule accountability immediately. Go to your calendar and schedule a recurring 15-minute weekly session dedicated solely to reviewing your lead measures and setting commitments for next week. Thank you for joining us today. Visit the 1-Hour Guide website for more business insights. Let's learn and grow together. We hope this deep dive into the 4 disciplines of execution, courtesy of the 1-Hour Guide by Anil Nathur, helps you execute your biggest goals.